and welcome to Solutions. I'm Eileen Preston. Solutions is a show about Falmouth, the community, the struggles and challenges it faces, and the individuals and organizations stepping up to help out. Today, our topic is a painful one: elementary school kids and hunger. And yes, it is in our community. And I think that you would be saddened and shocked to hear how often and how frequently kids go hungry. So you'll be heartened also to hear that I have two guests with us today who are part of a solution. And welcome to the program. Tammy, Leone, you are the Executive Director of Cape Kids Meals.
Yes.
And a familiar face, Dr. Duerr, Superintendent of Falmouth Public Schools. Thanks both for being here talking about this issue. Tammy, I'd like to start with you. Can you tell us about Cape Kids Meals and what you're doing?
Sure. So Cape Kid Meals started in 2014 by Pastor David Johnson and David Burns from Grace Church. They had heard about children that were coming to school on Monday and not having had enough food to eat. So they investigated it and found there's quite a few children having that problem in this school in Dennis. They then did some research, found out about a national program called Blessings in a Backpack, and learned the model, and then they used their volunteers, some private donors, and the model of Blessings in a Backpack, and started sending food bags home quite immediately after they had learned about the process. So the program provides breakfast and lunch. Most of the children are on the program, we know, are on free and or reduced at their schools. And I say we think because it is a confidential program.
Right.
Cape Kid Meals never knows anything about the ages or the children or anything about their families. We just know the numbers that need to be served by each school. So how it works is we work with the schools. They help, they identify the children that they know are having concerns or issues with getting enough food over the weekend. And then we pack every week at one of our 6 packing centers throughout the Cape and deliver every week before dismissal. And then the schools discreetly put these bags into the child's backpack. Some of the schools who've been doing it for years. Their model is the children will actually run down the hall on the way to dismissal and grab it out of the guidance counselor's office because they're very excited and they're used to getting it. Other schools, they do it more discreetly. They put it into their backpack while the children are at recess or at lunch, and then the child takes it home for the weekend.
And I think we have a slide on this, but how many towns do you serve on the Cape?
That's a good question. We started with 2 schools in Dennis, and we're in 24 schools across the Cape.
Wow, so it's really a big problem.
It is a really big
growing.
problem.
Is
Yes.
it growing? Yeah.
Yep.
And you started in Falmouth recently.
Yes.
How recently was that?
October 18th,
okay.
I believe.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So who approached whom?
So it was at a Cape-wide superintendent's meeting that Tammy came and spoke, and then I started talking to the other superintendents that were actually using the program and had nothing but great things to say. So I immediately started asking our principals, do we have children in this situation? That they believe that the kids are eating very minimal or at all over the weekend. And so as the conversations took place, we know that our teachers have tried to help out over time with children, but this is definitely a systematic program where we know that every kid can get a meal every weekend. So that's when we identified, Tammy and I started talking more, and we put all the things in place. She's been great, knowing all the ins and outs and helping us get set up. So
over the whole Cape Cod, how many people would you say you serve? How many kids?
We serve, right now we're at 530.
Wow. And the age group?
We do elementary school, and depending on the district, it'll go kindergarten, even pre-K sometimes to 3rd. Some schools go to 5th grade. It just depends, but primarily it's K through 3.
So these are 4 through 10-year-olds, is that about right?
Yeah.
And how did we know in the first place that they were hungry on the weekends? They probably get federally subsidized lunches and breakfasts, is that right? And so at school Monday through Friday?
Yeah, what the schools do is, most schools will start to identify the children by looking at the free and reduced, the children that have qualified for that. And then they will do a little more discussion. They'll talk with the adjustment counselors or guidance counselors at their school. They'll talk with the nurses. And oftentimes that's how they compile a list.
Okay. Dr. Duerr, can you talk about learning issues when you're dealing with hunger or food insecurity?
So we know that there's a correlation with good nutrition and achievement scores, and so definitely a concern of ours at all times, right? So during the school week, we can make sure that they have breakfast and they have lunch and that they have snacks, but it's concerning over the weekend that the children may not have access to food over the weekend. So this seemed like an ideal program to start connecting. Our grab-and-go breakfast first thing on Monday mornings are always higher, so which is an indicator that you know, kids are hungrier on Mondays.
On Monday morning, they're rushing in to get something.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So we think there's how many children in Falmouth with this?
So right now we're serving 62 children.
Okay.
And we're always looking at the number, so that may grow, as you had shared, over time as we learn about more situations.
Okay. And how do people get involved if they want to, first of all, if they want to participate, if their family is struggling?
They should reach out to the school principal, would be the first, point of contact. The ones that we have known about, we've certainly reached out to the families, and if we learn of different situations, we'll continue to do that.
And what do the kids get?
So the kids get a bag with...
As we're filming this, I haven't had any breakfast.
So we give them milk and juice. We also give them a cereal and an oatmeal. We'll give them like an Easy Mac and, you know, a canned pasta that has meat in it, or, you know, beef stew. We also give them a soup. They'll get a fruit cup and peanut butter cups and granola bars. And on long weekends and vacations, we do add more to the bag. We have to be cognizant, though, because we have a lot of littles that are taking these bags home. And it doesn't look maybe like a lot, but when you put it all in a bag, it's pretty heavy. And you zip it into their backpack to take it home.
You're 6 years old, yeah.
Yeah.
You got your art project, too, right?
Oh, right.
And fruit, right? That's wonderful.
So we have been very fortunate that Ring Brothers has been underwriting and giving us free fruit for every child on the program for 3 years.
Wow. All over the Cape.
All over the Cape.
Amazing. Okay.
It's been amazing. Yeah.
And do you have other partners? Is the supermarkets?
We do. Well, this bag, which is actually, this is exactly the bag the children take home. It's not, so it's not see-through. You know, it's discreet, and the food goes into it. And these bags have been generously donated by the Cooperative Bank of Cape Cod.
Great.
For years.
And I like that there's some kid-friendly food, too, because, you know, they still feel like kids, you know, they're not getting, you know.
Well, some people will ask us about, like, a fruit snack, and we obviously know this isn't going to fill their bellies. But what we do know is these children will hold these sometimes and bring them in on Monday so that they can be like their friends. And they have a snack, because a lot of these children rely on their teachers' snacks, which the teachers have to pay for, and that, so they'll go up and get whatever the teacher has. It's very rewarding for them to have something of their own to bring in.
One of our youngsters said when they saw we don't have snacks at home, and as heartbreaking as that is, so a snack is, you know, kind of normalizes the situation.
What we take for granted, yeah. And what we ask teachers to do, right? It's tough. What have you heard from teachers and the school nurse? Or since October, it's been the inception, so
the kids are very excited. They can't believe that they're getting the food the first time. The next week they said, "You mean I'm getting this every Friday?" Very excited. They, you know, a child would say, "I get to share this with my sister, so we both won't be hungry." You know, so comments that are very touching and shows just the Falmouth spirit when a child's willing to share that with a sister or a family member. Big smiles, I'm hearing that all around. And one mother said that she was especially happy that there was actually fruit in the bag. And so that's...
Fruit is expensive, especially in the winter, right?
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about the poverty on the Cape? To be food insecure, what's going on?
So Feeding America does a lot of statistics, as does Project Bread. And so Feeding America says, according to their statistics, 10% of the entire Cape Cod population is living or, you know, economically disadvantaged. That does not necessarily mean they're all food insecure, but it means that they're disadvantaged economically, is having a hard time meeting their basic needs. That's about 22,000 full-time Cape Cod residents, and out of that, there's 3,100 children. And I think, it's due a huge part to our seasonal employment. I mean, we have enormous seasonal employment, and then once October rolls around, a lot of these families that are working multiple jobs over the summer are going to be looking for work or not working throughout the winter and waiting until the end of April for it to, pick back up. And the cost of living on the Cape is very high.
It is.
So people are making choices over, do I keep a roof over my head? Do I buy groceries? Do I keep my electricity turned on? Do I buy groceries? And that's really what's plaguing, I think, a lot of the families Cape-wide.
So we've talked about the youngsters. You bring up the older kids.
Mm-hmm.
How are there programs for the older kids, or are there plans to develop this for older kids? Or
So that concerns me as well.
Middle schoolers?
Yes, we know
not that they're
that,
that old.
we know that obviously from families that there would be older siblings. So right now, we don't have a plan for that. This is really for the elementary students. We do have the fresh market that the Falmouth Service Center sets up in our schools. And so even if the families don't come out, we know that the older kids can actually access the fresh market. And so there's one way where they would be able to access some food.
Okay, good. Yeah, and a growing problem, so maybe your organization is growing. Huh? And how many volunteers do you have? How many people in
We
the
have
organization?
hundreds of volunteers. We have wonderful groups that come. We have Rotary clubs, we have churches, we have Girl Scouts, we have private school kids coming to pack. We have an amazing amount of volunteers throughout the Cape that get really involved to come help pack or shop and stuff like that.
So how does it work? It sounds like a good ladies' night, actually, to all go pack together. Do you have packing parties, or how does it work?
Well, I would say at my packing center feels like a packing party, because I do 5 schools in Barnstable myself. That's how I got involved.
Wow.
And the ladies that I pack with, it's a lot of fun. But it's a wonderful opportunity to get people from the community come in and understand that this is an issue that we have on the Cape. And the people that come to pack oftentimes walk away and they talk to other people about it, and it really just helps raise the awareness too, which is wonderful.
And who does the food shopping for it?
The chapter coordinators. So at each school each town we have coordinators that are in charge of getting the food. We get 50% of our food at from the food bank.
Okay.
So I order that. Cape Kid Meals is a partner with them.
So when you get it from the food bank, does that mean you get the food at a discounted rate?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Which is amazing, because
Yeah,
we literally
helpful.
are getting stuff that we cannot get retail. I mean, our bags would be too costly for us to do it. So it's a hugely important partnership for us, and we're very, very grateful.
Yeah. So how can other people help with this?
So locally, since we've started in October, we've had a number of groups that have stepped up, and they're each taking a week. So we've got the senior citizens from the senior center that are coming in once a week. The Rotary Club is coming in once a week. The VIPS board is coming in once a week. And so, and we're just having people get on and sign up for different weeks throughout the month. So people are very excited about helping. And some of the comments they say, is knowing that you can feed a child, just warms your heart. And so they come and pack the food, and then they deliver the larger bags out to the schools.
Okay.
And so we're doing really well right now with people wanting to volunteer, and I very much appreciate the community.
So where should
coming
people
out.
go? Do they go to the high school and pack?
So I wanted to keep it away from the school, so we're actually in the administration office.
Okay.
So they come pack the foods and pick it up and take it out to the schools.
And how do they put it in the kids' bags surreptitiously, or do they not?
Yeah, they do. The school counselors are helping, so they make sure that they go in. We're trying to do it discreetly, but the kids are so excited. Some of the discreetness has gone away because they get excited because it's Friday and they get to have their meal. So, and that's okay. They're okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And so I asked you to bring in maybe some thoughts about, did you have some quotes of kids?
Well,
who?
One of our principals said, that honestly, Friday afternoon when giving out the Cape Kids meals is a highlight of my week. My heart is full to see how excited the children are to get their bags for the weekend. The children are always polite and say thank you with giant smiles. And I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great. So it's how much money is it to sponsor a child?
It's $150, and that's for the entire year. So it's for the weekends, breaks.
Every weekend for the whole school year. And then in summer, there's other programs that pick up, right?
Yes, there are a number of summer programs, and what we try to do is get flyers and information into their bags before dismissal, before they go for the summer, to connect them with summer resources in their area, and then we pick them up in the fall.
And you're not seeing this problem dropping off at all. You're seeing it still increase. So there's really a need for people to volunteer as well as to give when they can. Okay.
Unfortunately, it's not dropping off, and it's growing. I mean, my schools, I think I had maybe 50 in Barnstable. I'm at 100 right now. I mean, it's doubled. So we are seeing it in every community. And I think also we're expanding, so people are more aware that this program exists.
Take advantage of it.
And we're just glad that people are taking advantage of it. And you'd asked a question about older children. It is something that we are looking at as a board, like what would our next level be once we have taken care of all the elementary children on the Cape that we can and that need the support. What we found a little bit is some of the high schools do have pantries in them, and the high school students are reluctant to take it. Yeah. Because of being embarrassed and the stigma associated with taking something that that they need. What we're starting to see a little bit is a shift. We have a school in Barnstable that's a 4-5 school, and they started with a very few amount of children, and now they are one of my largest groups. So my thought is that as these children are getting older, they're used to getting the bag, so it's not so weird to continue to get it. So hopefully this type of program will also change that sort of perception.
No shame in being poor, right? Shame in people who think that there's something wrong with it, right? So it's a beautiful program. I hope it continues till it doesn't need to be go on further. So $150 for 9 months, I guess, is a school year. Been a while, and you don't have to give $150. You could give what you can, or you could volunteer some time, or just pass out some flyers and let people know that it's there. Fantastic. And is there anything, I usually end these programs by asking, what do people not know that you want them to know about this program?
I will just say that, like we just talked about a minute ago, I mean, food insecurity, unfortunately, for our children is on the rise. And the more we can get people aware of this, and the more we can have the community sort of rally behind, I feel like we're going to get get the ability to help serve as many children as we can. And we just need to keep raising awareness of it so that people get involved. Yeah.
Dr. Duerr, anything for you?
I just want to thank this community because they've come out with donations and being volunteers, and that's how we make it work.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing how many people step up when you ask them to. That's fantastic. So thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this display. Thanksgiving is coming, so I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody does in all the communities. And we want to thank you for showing up, and we want to ask you to please keep looking for solutions.